Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Weekly Headlines. I am, as always, Dustin W. Stout of Dustn.tv, bringing you the hottest news in social media this week. Let's get right into it. This week, Taylor Swift maximizes her use of social media in releasing her new album, announcing her brand new album titled 1989, which is actually the year of her birth. Taylor Swift debuted her new album in a live Yahoo broadcast. During the broadcast, she took questions via Instagram, Skype, and Twitter, and within minutes, she was a trending topic on Twitter. No surprise there. She's been there plenty of times before. I've included the video in case you haven't seen it yet. I've included it in the notes to the show and also on the full blog post. You can watch it right in the page. And I'm, for one, not afraid to admit that I'm a big fan. I think it's a great video. It's very funny, and you should definitely take a look. Also, in music news and social media, Michael Jackson, even post-mortem, he is refusing to be dethroned as the king of pop. He made history this past week as the first music video to ever be debuted exclusively on Twitter. Very interesting as well. I've also put the video in the show notes or in the blog post so you can watch it right in the page. It's a really good video. I recommend you check it out. Also in the news this week, Vine unleashed a slew of new editing options. Previously on Vine, you had pretty much one option. You point, shoot, and share. No editing features. You couldn't import videos from your camera's list. But this week, they changed everything, allowing for editing options and importing videos from your cameras from your phone's camera. Man, I gotta figure out what that thing's called. Very exciting news for Viners. I myself am not much of a Viner, but am now considering it thanks to these new editing tools. You can read the full breakdown via Mashable. They've done a great job at covering it. And if you're a Viner, I'd love to hear about it and follow you and see what you're sharing. And you can find a link to that Mashable post in the full blog post to this video. Another exciting advancement for humanity. A social network called Sobrr will now delete your drunken debauchery after a day. That's right, much like Snapchat, where your messages get deleted in a designated time frame, Sobrr seeks to extend the self-destructing social media post life. This is great news for people who insist on sharing embarrassing, shameful, or otherwise worthless wastes of their life on social media, but want those meaningless and or shameful moments to last longer than 10 seconds, but not quite longer than 24 hours. Seriously, people, does this kind of a social media network really need to exist? I mean, really. Is this a good thing for humanity at all? No, it's, in my opinion, another complete waste of time and life. Let's hope it disappears as quickly as it came. Also in the news this week, and in fact the past couple of weeks, the Ferguson hashtag has been just taking over Twitter, erupting all over the place. This heat map that I found, I've placed it in the blog post, shows just how crazy this activity for the Ferguson hashtag has been since it started on August 9th when unfortunately another young African man was killed by police officers. Additionally, it seems Twitter has taken a particular interest in this hashtag as they've now painted the Ferguson hashtag on their headquarter wall, one of their headquarter walls. It's a terrible, terrible situation, and now it's going on down in Ferguson, Missouri, and celebrities are getting involved. In fact, famous rapper Nelly, who is from Missouri, has begun getting involved, and now Puff Daddy, a.k.a. P. Diddy, a.k.a. Sean Puffy Combs, a.k.a. Diddy, a.k.a. Puff Daddy, he has shared at least 2 Instagram videos pleading with Obama to do something about the situation down in Ferguson. To my knowledge, Obama has not Instagrammed him back yet, but we'll see how this unfolds. And my hope and my prayer is that this can get resolved quickly and the injustice can be made right. Also, in some more unfortunate social media news, journalist James Foley, his public beheading was all the talk on social media. It was horrifying, mortifying, and just so terrible that this broke. A terrorist group named ISIS shared the video of them beheading this journalist who they had kidnapped, and it was almost immediately taken off of YouTube and all the social channels. They were banned from all sorts of social media companies, but and it's no question how terrible and horrifying this story is, but it's also managed to raise a number of questions regarding Twitter policy and how the internet companies at large should handle such violent real-life content. And the conversation is ongoing. Again, this is something that we don't really have policies for. This is something that social media wasn't ready for and is now having to cope with and decide, what is the plan of action, what's the course, and what's the difference between reporting the news and just blatantly showing these atrocities and violent content. My hope and prayer, again, is that we can resolve things like this, and that these sorts of violent, atrocious acts can be kept from the public eye, and justice can be served to the victims. Now, on a much lighter note, last week I introduced a hashtag called Makes Me Happy. This was after the passing of Robin Williams, who I believe would want us to be happy and laugh despite sorrowful situations. So I put out the hashtag last week, and within minutes I was seeing tens of thousands of tweets, posts on Google+, Instagram. Turns out I wasn't the first one to invent that hashtag. It just existed before that, so that's why there were so many tweets and stuff. And I found lots of great things. In fact, some of you actually sent out what makes you happy and commented, and I wanted to highlight a couple of those today. My good friend Joshua said 37 innings of softball today. I'm beat, and apparently that makes him happy. For me, I think I'd just be sleepy afterwards. I don't know if that'd make me happy, but if that makes you happy, Josh, man, all the power to you. My good buddy James says, when my clients achieve success beyond their expectations, and he put 4 exclamation points there, so that makes him really, really happy. Thank you for that, James. And I wanted to also share something this past week that made me happy. I discovered this Twitter account called WTF Renaissance, and what they do is they share Renaissance paintings and they add modern captions to them. This one, for instance, says, Frank required 2 assistants to get him into his favorite skinny jeans. Sadly, his chances of reproducing were nil. And that Twitter account has been bringing me a whole lot of happy in such a somber time in social media with all this violence happening, and we all need a bit of levity in our lives. So every now and then I will share this Makes Me Happy hashtag and gather some of the best tweets and Google Plus posts from you, my audience, and highlight those in future. But this week we're going to return to our weekly Good Idea, Bad Idea. This is where I ask you whether or not a certain headline is a good idea or a bad idea. This week it's all about Twitter. If you didn't hear, Twitter is now experimenting with putting favorite tweets into the timeline of users. Now, traditionally how Twitter works is you follow someone, you see their tweets. You don't follow someone, you don't see their tweets. It's very straightforward, and now, much like Facebook, who inserts recommended posts or suggested posts into your news feed, now Twitter is trying this exact same thing. So I want to know, do you think it's a good idea or is it a bad idea? Is it going to cause greater engagement or more discovery and therefore a good idea, or is it a violation of how users use the network, and is it a bad idea? There's been a lot of outrage about this, as there always is, and personally my view is that it's a terrible idea. In fact, I shared on Google Plus the other day that I think whoever came up with the idea, thought it was a good idea, should be fired, and the engineers who implemented it should also be fired. But what do you think? You tell me. I'd love to know your thoughts. You can leave a comment on the YouTube video or in the blog post, or shoot me a tweet or Google Plus post and let me know what you think. And that about wraps it up for this week. I look forward to seeing you next week. Again, I am Dustin W. Stout of Dustn.tv, bringing you the hottest news in social media. So, Internet, go be good. Spread some happiness, spread some joy, and I want to hear from you. So be sure to share and comment, and just say hi if you want to. because I like it. Have a great week.